Today I am going to review the movie called Montana Story. The independent movie Montana Story, about a brother and sister dealing with tragic family secrets while on a road trip, is a throwback to an era when intimate stories about real-life situations could be seen on big screens in art house theaters. An establishment that was steadily disappearing at the time this review was written. The movie's writers and directors are Scott McGehee and David Siegel, a writing and directing team that has worked together on 8 films with modest budgets over the past 30 years. These films include the intense dramas The Business of Strangers and B Season, as well as the surreal thrillers Suture and The Deep End. And they also include the intense dramas The Business of Strangers and B Season. Modern listeners will find the quiet and slow tempo annoying, and some of the material is probably a little too simple. The primary familial dysfunction of the movie, along with several of the images and storyline aspects, are reminiscent of the 1960s country melodramas HUD and The Last Picture Show, which were potent but wore metaphors on their denim shirt sleeves and would undoubtedly be considered as old-fashioned today, at a time when so few directors dared to try it. It's exciting to witness a film made in this format, but the stunning panoramic shots of the Montana mountains and the faultless lead and supporting performances really make the film stand out. Owen Teague plays Cal, a young man who goes to his family's home to handle the inheritance of his dying father, who had been in a coma due to a stroke soon after. He is followed by his half-sister Erin, who has been estranged from the family for years as a result of her rebellion against their father. The father's transgression of legal, ethical, and moral principles was directly responsible for the violence and grief that tore Erin away from the family. All of this is included into a more skeptic historical perspective of America than is typically taught in public schools. The father's betrayals are in keeping with a tradition that runs through cinema noir and revisionist westerns and plugs into the legacy of ancient Greek tragedy, yet without giving anything away. The brothers and sisters spend a lot of time thinking about a big, useless hole in the ground that a mining firm dug with their father's legal and business advice. Then Erin teaches her brother about the circles of hell that Dante portrays in his Inferno and ties them to their ancestry, as well as the state that is only superficially and loosely presented to children through adoration for its big skies. The filmmakers, however, take care to keep the situations from becoming too amorphous by constantly tying them back to the siblings and their family homestead, as well as the local economy, factors that also influence their housekeeper Valentina, their father's nurse, a Kenyan immigrant known as Ace, and their father's increasingly deteriorating horse, which Cal has decided to put to sleep, but that Erin impulsively decides Erin's obsession with saving the horse is a redemptive, history-rewriting action that is closely related to her own suffering at the father's hands. This kind of film makes you wonder out loud whether the used pickup truck and horse trailer Erin purchases from Mucky, a transplanted Mohican, will actually function. The scene when Cal and Erin discuss the purchase, make the required repairs, then test drive the truck takes up several minutes of the film. This sequence is essentially a nuanced short film about negotiation, with nuances of racial and class mistrust woven into the exchanges of the individuals, as well as generosity of sentiment and unanticipated moments of bonding, asking viewers to focus for a nearly 2-hour, self-contained story about the emotional and financial struggles of a rural Montana family may be too much to ask, given that they are increasingly trained to only relate to high-budget, intellectual property-driven fantasies full of Easter eggs and teasers. The movie also misses the mark and errs on the side of being quiet and humble, the ability to stage scenes with beginnings, middles, and ends that are entirely dependent upon the nuanced interactions of a small number of actors who live or die depending on the words they are given to say, and the silences they are encouraged to inhabit is just one of the many advantages to be gained from this, though.